Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Naveen, and if you want to become number one in Google, then you are in the right place. The name of the webinar is How to Rank Number One in Google. And of course, this is a much larger topic called SEO. So SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It's the art and science of getting your website to the top of search engines, such as Google, Bing, and Yahoo. Google, of course, being the largest one. And let us jump right into the material. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Naveen Kulshrestha. I am the director at Devi Studios. So we do web design and development and digital marketing, such as SEO. And back when I first started, I really just built websites. But just because you build a website doesn't mean anyone will actually come to your website. So that's, of course, when we started offering digital marketing services. And the main one that we offer is SEO. So why is it important? Well, right now, Google is the most visited website in the world. 8.5 billion searches happen a day. And Google right now has 92% market share for the search engines. So it's almost guaranteed that your ideal customers are looking for the products and services that you offer. The big question is, are you actually showing up when they do these searches? And of course, that's what we'll be talking about in this webinar. Many benefits. You're going to increase your visibility, your brand awareness. One of our main goals is to boost traffic to your website, which will ultimately increase your sales and your revenue. So that is the ultimate goal. And it's not just about traffic. It's about getting targeted and relevant traffic. And we go through this entire process of making sure that the traffic that you get to your website is high quality traffic. That means the ideal people who are looking for the products and services that you offer. So I always like to start with a story. So here's one of my clients. He is a yacht broker in Seattle. He sells a special type of yacht called a hybrid yacht, a Greenline hybrid yacht. And we built the website, but we had many challenges. One is that it was a brand new website. So of course, nobody knew about it. It's kind of a small specialized audience. How do we reach these people? They're all over the country. And then the owner of the business, his name is Andrew, he's too busy. He has a full-time job. He has a team of brokers. He's working on his own sales and marketing. And so we worked on an SEO campaign, and the results were that we got a 400% increase in traffic. Over 15 keywords are ranked number one in Google. And now 70% of traffic to his website is from search engines, and he gets about 2 or 3 phone calls a day. So that has been quite successful. And this is something that almost anyone can do if you take consistent steps every day, or at least every month. If you work toward your goals, you'll be able to achieve them. And you can kind of see how traffic, this is traffic from search engines. This is around the time that we started doing the work. And you can see that every month we're seeing improvements. And then over the course of 6 months, a year, 2 years, we can see some huge results. And so let's just talk a little bit about how Google actually works. So of course, it's a search engine. People are looking for something, and then it produces a series of results. And you really need to be on page 1 to get a decent amount of traffic to your website. That means that you need to be in the top 10. If you're on page 2 or page 3, then traffic drops off exponentially. Very few people go beyond page 1 of a search results. And then ideally, you want to be number 1. That means you want to be at the top. Now, if you look at this search result, I was looking at life insurance. So I typed in different types of life insurance. And let's see, I actually have this pulled up in my browser. Now, you will notice that several of the search results are labeled as ads. Now, it's very small. It's a little bit subtle, and a lot of people miss this. But the top 4 results right now are actually ads. And the number 1 result, we call this the organic result. That means somebody who is not paying, who truly is number 1 in Google. We call this an organic search result. So NerdWallet is actually number one. These people, these are paid ads. These people are paying per click to be at the top of the search engine results. And so if I were to click on any one of these ads, then this company, Forbes.com, would owe Google a small amount of money. So this webinar is mainly about the organic search results. That means that you don't have to pay Google to be at the top of the results. You have earned a place to be at the top of the search results. This is something different. This is called paid search. And usually when I'm going through some search engine results, I usually skip the ads because I know that those people have just paid to be there. And I go to the number one or number two organic search result. So let's come back into the presentation now. And that, of course, is the big question. How do you get to be the number one organic search result in Google? And this is the process that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And it's the process that we use for all of our clients at the business. And it's a process that anyone can use to boost their search engine results. So it starts off with the website. And by the way, we're going to be going through each one of these steps one at a time. So you don't have to be concerned about memorizing this list. But first of all, we start with the website. You need to have a decent website before we can even begin the process. Then we measure the competition. How much competition is in your industry? And are you national? Are you local? If you're looking to be a national company, then of course the competition will be much tougher. Then number three, keyword research is actually one of the most important steps in the process. Then on-site means optimizing the website. Technical SEO means communicating with Google. The sixth step is content, developing high quality content so that people have a reason to come and stay at your website. And then we also will talk about offsite SEO and analytics. So let's go through these one at a time. So it does start with your website. You have to look at your website because the purpose of SEO is driving traffic to your website. But what's the point of driving traffic to your website if your website is not very good, or if you're a little bit embarrassed to share it, or if it doesn't reflect the quality of your work? So here's like a minimal list. It should be secure. It should work on mobile devices. It should load quickly. It should have a nice design, have good content, etc. One thing that I do recommend is using some sort of content management system, such as WordPress or Shopify. It makes it much easier to keep your website up to date, and it makes it much easier to communicate with search engines. So here's an example of not such a good website. The navigation is very difficult. The colors just doesn't look polished and professional. So if your website looks like this, then you probably need to do some work even before you start the SEO campaign. Then once you're happy with your website, then we can actually take a look at your industry and the level of competition. I normally, just for simplicity, measure competition in terms of high, medium, and low. And here are some of the highest competition industries. So insurance, finance, real estate, lawyers, travel and tourism, and there's actually many, many more on this list. But here are some national high-level companies. And these are people who actually have million-dollar marketing budgets. And they do SEO and social media and print and television and radio and all sorts of things. So if you are trying to compete at a national level with some of these brands, hopefully you have a huge marketing budget and a whole team to make that happen. But for the rest of us, let's say you are an attorney, it's still possible to get a good ranking, but you have to find like the right niche. You have to identify like a small niche that you can compete in. So this is one of the first steps, is kind of to assess the level of competition within your space. Are you national, regional, local? Of course, if you're national, it'll be much higher than if you're a local business. Are you general or specialized? If you have a specialized niche, it's going to be much easier for you to connect with your audience, as opposed to if you're a generalist. And then, of course, how many other people are in your space offering similar products and services? So here's a very simple example. Let's say you wanted to optimize yourself for insurance agent. That's very general. It's going to be very difficult to rank for that word. However, let's say you've specialized yourself and you're local. So if you're a long-term care insurance agent in Boise, Idaho, it's going to be much, much easier for you to get traffic for that search term. Now, here is a very useful tool. This is called Ahrefs, ahrefs.com. If you just Google the Ahrefs website authority checker, you can measure. What I recommend doing is maybe type in some of the products or services that you offer, and then figure out who's at the top of Google, who are like the top, maybe 2 or 3 websites, then come to the authority checker and then type in their domain name, and then you will get a score on how difficult or how strong their website is. This is on a rating of 1 to 100. So a brand new website will be like a 0 or a 1. A very strong small business may be like a 20 or a 30. And then, of course, it goes up from there. Now, this is statefarm.com, a national insurance company. They have a huge domain rating. It's, close to 90 out of 100. And they have 1.8 million backlinks. We'll talk about backlinks a little bit later, but that basically means other websites that are linking to your website. So this is one way to build your domain authority and the strength of your website. So this will give you a quick measure of how hard it's going to be to get to the top of Google based on the competition. So once you have an idea of the level of competition, step number 3 is keyword research. And what does that mean? That means what are the exact words and phrases that your ideal customers are typing into search engines to find the products and services that you offer. And this is actually one of the most important steps in the entire process, because it really creates the foundation for all of the future steps. And so what exactly is a keyword? So it could be either a single word or a phrase. So for example, electrician near me, life insurance agent in Seattle, or maybe get life insurance quotes online, or for a company like mine, web design company in Orlando. So this is a keyword. Sometimes they're short, sometimes they're very long. And in order to get data, we need to test keywords. In the beginning, you might not have an idea. You might have some idea. Of course, you probably know the names of the products and the services that you offer, but you might not know exactly how people are searching for them. What keywords do they use when they're looking for you? And then this is where the research comes in. And generally speaking, you're going to need some sort of tool in order to do this. So here are 3 professional tools that are commonly used in the industry. These are paid tools. That means that you have to pay $100 a month. Ahrefs, SEMrush, Pathfinder SEO. If you're looking for a free tool, you can try out this one. This one is called Uber Suggest. And what you're able to do is to type in some keywords, and they'll give you all sorts of data around that, which I'll demonstrate very shortly. And so here's a case study on keyword research. So GSI Boat, it's a company located in Seattle that specializes in the sale of commercial boats. And we had to figure out the list of the best or top keywords to optimize this website for. And so I'm going to flip over to one of my tools here. So I personally use Pathfinder SEO, and I went to the keyword research tool, and then I typed in boats for sale. So initially you would just have to brainstorm, and you're going to type in your products and your services. And then after I click on the button, it actually produces a bunch of sample keywords to consider. And some of them are not a good match. Some of them are a good match. So now we have to go through and filter our way through all of these keywords. Now, when you're looking at keywords, there are 2 pieces of information that you have to keep an eye on. One is the monthly search volume. That means how many people per month are looking for this keyword. Then the other one is the level of competition or the level of difficulty to rank for this keyword. This is on a scale of 0 to 1. 0 being very easy to rank, 1 being very difficult to rank. And at this point, we're not really deciding, we're not making any big decisions. We're just seeing if something might be a good match. And then typically we will copy and paste it into a spreadsheet. So that way we can make a decision on which keywords are the best. So then we kind of go through this data, we assemble spreadsheets, and we start analyzing the keywords. Now, an ideal keyword, what is an ideal keyword? High volume, low competition, that is highly relevant to your products and services or whatever you offer on your website. And so boats for sale might be tempting because look at the search volume. This is great. 246,000 people per month are looking for boats for sale. Competition is medium to high. When I go down the list, we have used boats for sale. So the volume has gone down, the competition has gone down. However, these are a little bit too general. They're not relevant enough, and it would be very difficult for us to rank immediately for a keyword like this. It could take several years. So it's better to find a keyword that we have a good chance of ranking for within a few months. Fishing boats for sale. Now, actually, this is quite relevant. Volume is good. 27,000 a month, that's actually good volume, but take a look at the competition. It's too high. It's almost as difficult as it gets. So even though our website is highly relevant, the competition is too difficult. So we decided to go for this one, commercial fishing boats for sale. So just by adding that one word, commercial, now we've gone down to 1,600 searches per month. It's not bad. But the thing that really attracted me was the level of competition. When the level of competition is low like this, that means that we can start ranking, maybe within a month or two. And the other ones weren't as relevant, like jet skis for sale is not relevant, and these ones didn't have as much search volume. So we finally decided that this would be the main keyword that we use for the homepage of the website. But of course, I'm simplifying the process here, but we had to consider hundreds of keywords before we arrived at this one. Now, this was the keyword that we chose for the homepage of the website. Each page on your website has to have its own keyword. So now we have to go through all of the important pages for the website, starting off with your homepage, then the about page, your products, all of your services, your category pages if you have them, your location pages if you have them, and you have to find a keyword, a unique keyword for every single important page on your website. And then later on, we deal with like blogs and articles and other pages, but these are the most important ones. And so in order to do that, we have to go through and consider, like I said, hundreds of keywords. These are basically different product lines on GSI Boat. And some of the existing product lines were not bringing in any traffic at all. So we decided to get rid of them and consolidate them and change the way the website was organized. And, for example, for barge, we decided to go for barges for sale because there was good volume, medium level of competition, and then in yellow, we highlighted secondary keywords. So green is our focus keyword. You can only have one focus keyword for a page. Then you can have as many secondary keywords as you want. So we had to go through and do this for all of the important pages in the website. And then what we're really looking for, if you're lucky, and if you do some deep research, you can find what we often call a keyword gem. So that means you have high volume, low competition, and it's highly relevant to what you are offering. So here was one keyword gem that we found because, so it's crab boats for sale because we have a good level of volume. That means 1,300 people per month are looking for crab boats for sale. And the competition is really low. It's like just above 0. That means that we can start ranking for this almost immediately if we take the right steps. And so once you go through, this is called keyword mapping. You have, you create a spreadsheet with a list of all the pages in your website. You find a focus keyword, that's the best keyword for that page, multiple secondary keywords, and then once you've done your work, that means you have to do some very thorough, deep research. Now you have the spreadsheet. You have all the main pages in your website. You have all of your keywords. Now what? So now we do our on-site SEO. That means optimizing each page in your website to rank for your chosen keywords. So what does that process look like? So here's a small little checklist. So of course, if I take the example of crab boats for sale, well, we need that keyword to show up throughout the page. I mean, that's common sense, right? It needs to show up in the URL, the meta title and description, which I'll show you very briefly, the H1 heading, the subheadings, the copy, the images, the links, almost all the places that you can put it without being, spammy or artificial. It should appear in a natural way. And I'm going to show you an example. And our example was crab boats for sale. So that was one of the keyword gems that we found. So if I go to the page, so here is the page on the actual website. So let's take out the URL. So the URL says gsiboat.com, commercial fishing boats for sale, and then crab boats. So since I have for sale here, I don't have to repeat it at the end, like crab boats for sale. So we have crab boats, we have for sale in the URL. The meta title and the meta description are actually not visible inside of the browser. So I have like a little extension right here, and this is a free Chrome extension. It's called SEO Meta in one click. When I click there, it kind of reveals some of the metadata of the page, and we had to embed this into the code of the page. So the title is Crab Boats for Sale, GSI Boat, Commercial Fishing Boat. So of course, Crab Boats for Sale is visible. Description is View Crab Boats for Sale on GSI Boat. Notice how we use crab boats for sale in the title, the description, the URL. Then if I go to the visible page now, we added it. This is called the H1 heading. This is visible on the page, typically a big heading at the very top of the page. You will want that to include your keyword as well. If you have subheadings, you put it there. If you have paragraphs, you put the keyword there. If you have images, you embed the keyword into the images. It's called alternate text that is embedded into the code for your images. So you put it in as many places as possible. And actually, for this particular page, we have only done the first four: the URL, the title, the description, and the H1 heading. And that was enough to get us a #1 ranking. So you could even try it yourself. So if I go to Google, crab boats for sale, there it is. GSI boat, commercial fishing boats for sale, crab boats for sale. So the page is #1. So we were able to do it in a relatively brief period of time because we found that keyword gem, and then we optimized a specific page on our website for that keyword. Now, of course, you don't want to stop with just one keyword. You want to keep going. You have to keep going for all of the pages, all of the important pages on your website, and repeat this process. So we have giant spreadsheets. Each page has its own line. We have the focus keyword, the secondary keyword. We write the meta title, the meta description, the H1 headings, and there's even more. But I didn't have enough room on my screen to fit the entire spreadsheet, but it keeps going. So we go through our checklist. And then ideally, you want to see trends like this. As you do your work, you can see this is around the time that we started doing some serious work on the GSI Boat website. And we pretty much doubled, we're at the point now where we've doubled traffic from search engines. We have over 15 keywords ranked #1 in Google, mainly because we did our research and we created content that Google loves for these keywords. And then once you've done as much as you can on your own website, Then we have other considerations. So step number 5. So step number 4 was on-site optimization. Now we have something called technical SEO. We've created all these cool pages. We have all this great relevant content. Now Google needs to know about that. So there are specific ways of making sure that Google knows about your website and is indexing your web pages correctly. So there is a specific file that needs to live on your web server called an XML sitemap. There's another file that also needs to sit on your web server, and it has instructions. It communicates with Google and with search engines, and there needs to be specific code in there. You also have to set up a free service called Google Search Console. So with the Google Search Console, you are basically able to tell Google about your website. And all of these things become much easier when you use a modern CMS, that's a content management system, such as WordPress and Shopify, because much of this is automated and is built into the system. So that was step number 5. Step number 6 is content. You want to have high quality, good content. That is one of the quickest, easiest ways to get Google to recognize you and to give you credit. So one of the biggest mistakes is that small business owners have a set it and forget it attitude. That means that you launched your website 5 years ago and you haven't done anything on it since then. That's not a good idea. You should make a commitment to generating high quality content, original high quality content that demonstrates your expertise, your authority, and will build trust with other people. So this can come in many forms: blogs, reviews, tutorials, videos. You're not going to be able to do all of these, so find what you are best at. I personally like to do video tutorials. So I have one of my personal websites is WebGuru, so I do video tutorials on my YouTube channel. Then I convert those tutorials into written, or I convert those videos into written tutorials that I then add to my website. So let's go take a look. I'll show you just a simple example. So here's my videos page. So I have a whole bunch of video tutorials. And then if I click to see the details, you can see the video, and then I have written step-by-step instructions for people. And then I optimize everything for search engines. And here is a specific keyword that I decided to optimize for. And this is a common issue that people have in Adobe Premiere Pro when they're video editing. So I noticed that, this error kept coming up and I knew how to fix it. So I decided to create a video and a tutorial on it. And now anyone in the world who searches for this error message, new frames need analyzing, my video is number 1. So there it is. And this is actually called a featured snippet. That means it's featured up at the very top of your website. And this sends me a ton of traffic. Believe it or not, just this one video sends me over 1,000 visits per month. I produced the video like 4 years ago now, like over 4 years ago. And since then, it's probably sent me over 100,000 visits to my website. And since I released it, I haven't really had to do anything. So now people click through to my website, they sign up for my, they buy my books, they buy my online courses, they sign up for my email newsletter. And this is a fairly simple video. I think it was like 2 minutes long. That's about it. So this is just one example of how you can create relevant, targeted content to attract people to your website. And then here's a quote that I like. If you're not putting out relevant content in relevant places, you don't exist. Now, of course, he's exaggerating a little bit because you do exist, but you probably don't exist very much online. And when people are searching online, you need to show up. You need to be in front of them when they're searching for you, or at least for the products and services that you offer. So content is one of the most powerful ways of doing that. Step number 7. Because we're not done yet. We still have 2 more steps. Off-site SEO. So we've done a lot on our website. But how does a company like statefarm.com, how do they get a domain rating of 88? How do they get 1.8 million backlinks? A backlink is another website that links to you. So The best way is, of course, creating high quality content that people love so much that they start linking to your content because it's expert, it's authoritative, it's trustworthy. The more of these backlinks you get, the higher your domain rating will get. But it's not just backlinks. They have a Google business listing. You want to optimize your Google business listing and also get listed in other relevant business directories. You want to get lots of reviews. You want to get yourself out there. Contact relevant industry blogs and see if you can write articles for them and if they will give you a link back to your website. Show up on podcasts, webinars, go to events, and also get your bio listed on their websites and get links back to your website. So backlinks are really, really important. One of the most important ranking factors in Google. So it's not just about what you say about yourself on your website. What's also very important is what other people are saying about you across the web. So this is called offsite SEO. Very important to build your brand authority. And so you want to treat your website like a living, breathing creature, constantly adding content, going out there, promoting, spreading your knowledge, and getting people to come to your website. Step number 8 is analytics. And this is how will you know it's actually working? And this is where the analytics come in. You have to track the analytics. Otherwise, you're basically driving in the dark. So a couple things to track over time. Overall traffic to your website. And of course, you want to see a nice trend line of more and more traffic coming to your website. Traffic from search engines, same thing. Over time, you want to track this at least on a monthly basis and make sure that you're starting to get more and more traffic from search engines. You want to track where your traffic is coming from. In this particular graph, 70% of our traffic is coming from organic search. 26% is coming direct. That means people who just go directly to the website. We also have referral and social. And of course, every website's going to be a little bit different here. There's some people who are much more active on social media than others. So then, of course, they'll get more social media traffic. You want to track your keyword rankings. So every month, we like to print out a report and make sure that our rankings are improving over time. Actually, just in the past month, this one has jumped 16 places. Now we're in the top 10 for solar hybrid yacht. This is for another client of mine. So every month, track your keyword rankings. In the beginning, you might not have any keywords that rank. Then maybe you'll get into the top 100. Then maybe you'll get into the top 50, then 30, then 20, then 10, and then ultimately into the top 5 or 3, or maybe eventually you'll get to number 1, but that's going to take some time. And it's good to know that at least you're making progress. At least you're moving in the right direction. You're going from 30 to 20 to 10, and there's automated software to do this. It's hard to do this manually. And so the tools, I have like the 3 paid tools that I mentioned. If you want to really try to just do things for free, you will get most of this information in Google Analytics, which is free. You can set it up. And you will be able to get all of the traffic numbers and the source, like where the traffic is coming from. You won't really be able to easily measure your keyword rankings, though. To measure your keyword rankings, you're probably going to have to pay at least a little bit of money to be able to generate these types of reports. So just to summarize, here is the 8-step process that I shared with you today. Evaluate your website, make sure it's good, polished, professional. Take a look at your competitors, see what they're doing and how strong their websites are. Step number 3, the most important step. What are the exact words and phrases that your ideal customers are typing into a search engine? So I spend a lot of time. We do a very thorough deep dive into keyword research. Then once we know the keywords, we map the keywords to individual pages within the website. Then we optimize, so that's on-site SEO, then we optimize each page for those keywords. Technical SEO is communicating with Google and making sure that it knows about your website and it's indexing all the pages in your website. Content is also very important. You should have an ongoing content strategy, whether it's blogging or videos or tutorials or recipes or whatever you do, at least once a month. I would say generate a high quality piece of original content. That's minimum to really see good results. Offsite SEO is building your trust and authority on the web, not just your website, but the entire web. So that means how many people are linking to you, that's a backlink, online reviews, directory listings, your Google My Business profile, and all of these things. And then just to make sure that your campaign is on track and you're getting the results that you want, you have to have some system of analytics in place so that you can track your progress and, well, make sure that you are making progress. Because as you can see, there's a lot of labor involved and a lot of time involved in running these campaigns. So you have to make sure that they are on track. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to contact me directly. You can go to my website for more information. My email is naveen@devistudios.com. That is the end of the presentation. So we will be in touch. Feel free to contact me anytime if you have any additional questions or if something comes up, or if you would like any assistance with your own SEO campaigns. So take care, and I will see you next time.